Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Carole and Tuesday, episode 13. So yeah, we had a week off of Carole and Tuesday, but technically we didn't, because last week I still put up an episode before changing the schedule around. But it's still been over a week, technically. So last time was episode 12, and it was kind of the mid-season finale of the series. And so we got this big finale to the entire situation with the Mars Brightest contest. Angela did win, but the judges decided to bend the rules just this once and allow for Carole and Tuesday to get a recording contract done as well. So it didn't go quite the way I expected, but I actually really like how that turned out. Because Carole and Tuesday were able to prove themselves with their last song there, which was a full version of their first song. And not only did they prove themselves, but they did get something out of it, something legitimate. But at the same time, they did lose. And I said, right from when that arc began, that I would be okay with them losing, as long as it was done well. And it was done well. I'm fully okay with it. So now they're moving on, and they're starting a career. They are starting to become something. Because everything in the first half was kind of like them trying to make it. And now they've made it. And so the second half is going to be their basically beginning to get into all of this. Into everything that is necessary for joining the industry, basically. We also had the conclusion to the stuff with Sibel and how she injured Tuesday on purpose in order to basically get back at her for turning her down, which fucking pissed me off. And we had some stuff go on with Tuesday's family. Tuesday was kidnapped by some people sent by her mother. And her mother basically admitted to her that she doesn't give a shit about her. She just cares about how it's going to affect her entire image during her election campaign. But Tuesday's brother happens to be an excellent person, and he helped Tuesday escape so that she could go back and compete in the finale, even though Angela still won, and even though their song technically couldn't have changed that at that point because they were technically disqualified. But yeah, it was good that he helped. It was just awesome to see Roddy and oh my gosh, why am I forgetting his name? The manager. I can't think of his name at the moment. Gus. Roddy and Gus were arrested and everything for what they had been doing and all. But they'll probably be let out, I'm sure. So I'm interested to see where this episode takes it as the start of the second part, basically. One other thing to note is that Carole basically confirmed, at least from her angle, that she has a thing for Tuesday. I think it was very obvious the way that everything was worded, the way it was all presented and executed, that Carole at least has a thing for Tuesday, that she loves her. Like, romantically. And I could completely believe Tuesday has the same feelings, but so far we don't fully have any big, like, heavy confirmation. And I said before that this romance is definitely kind of slow burning, but this is considered officially a romance series. That is one of its officially considered genres, so yeah. It's definitely slow burning, but that's fine. I think it's more realistic that way. Now, I also know that we do have a new opening and ending theme. I have not seen them yet. I've not seen the new opening. I've not seen the new ending. I've not even heard them, so I have no idea what to expect. But I will say that I'm a little cautious because the first opening was so perfect, especially for the tone of the show and everything. That I'm just worried that the second opening won't live up to it, and we'll have kind of like a Spice and Wolf situation. Um, if you don't know, the anime Spice and Wolf has a phenomenal first opening that fits the series like perfectly, but its second opening is kind of crap, and it just really just is not enjoyable to watch or listen to, and really just doesn't fit the tone of the series. Soul Eater has the same issue, but to a lesser degree. Soul Eater's second opening is definitely just not as fitting to the series and not as good, but it's definitely not as bad in comparison as Spice and Wolf Season 2's was. I'm just really hoping that at least if this opening is not as good as the first one, that it's at least still good. You know, that it at least still fits the series. The outro theme, I don't really have a strong thought on because I feel that the outros just aren't really that impressive in any anime. There's a couple, like maybe a handful of exceptions to that, but I almost never watch the outros for any anime. They're just never that interesting to me. The music and the music and the visuals just aren't interesting most of the time. And a lot of the times it doesn't even fit the series. Like the outro theme for One Punch Man Season 1, for example, so horribly unfitting for the show. So horribly unfitting. It feels like it'd be more for like a rom-com or slice of life series. And it's just like, no thank you. But yeah, I'll check it out for this episode, I think, but I don't think I'll check, even if I like it, I don't think I'll check it out and watch it for future episodes. But yeah, I really hope to continue to love this series, because if I had to rank it right now, like I've said before, it's my number 3 favorite anime of all time. Only after Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and My Hero Academia. But if it continues to go on the same path as it has been and continues to be as good as it has been, if not better, then this could easily be my number 2 or even my number 1. It's very possible. At this point, I'm not going to deny the possibility that it will surpass Brotherhood or My Hero for me. And I mean, My Hero could easily take the spot back with Season 4 coming in October. Easily. But I mean, I'm just saying, Carole and Tuesday could very easily also take the spot away from My Hero, even if just for a time. And I wouldn't be opposed to that. I mean, that would just show how much I truly love this series. And I'm so glad that it's coming to Netflix next month. Yeah, the first half of the series is coming to Netflix next month, so other people are going to finally get to be able to see it. So many people have been waiting for this to come onto Netflix to actually see it because, you know, they want to watch it, quote-unquote, legally. They want to watch it on an official streaming service and all. So they've been waiting for it to come to Netflix officially, and so many people, because of that, have not seen it. It has not been getting the attention it deserves, has not been getting the fan art and just constant praise and everything it really does deserve. And I'm worried that because of this long wait, that it's not going to become as big as it should be, even with Shinichiro Watanabe directing it. Even with it being Studio Bones. I feel like it's not going to be as big as it should and could have been because of the Netflix treatment. And that's honestly Netflix's biggest issue. The fact that they wait so long on anime so that they release even just 12 episodes at a time. And it just causes people's interest to die down. I really wish they wouldn't do that, but there's unfortunately nothing I can really do about that. So I just really hope that at least this does get a good amount of attention. People do still love it. Either way, we're just going to get this started and hope the second half of Carole Tuesday starts off just as amazingly as part 1 ended. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so this was another great episode. It definitely continued to prove that this show is not going to lose its steam going into the second half. In fact, there were actually some improvements in a couple of places. Most notably, the art and animation. Excuse me. The art and animation have drastically improved, even just from the last episode. The facial expressions are so much more dynamic in this episode. The way characters move and the just general backgrounds and set pieces and stuff really just feel like a lot more work was put into them. And if that's kind of the standard going forward with this second half of the series, that's going to be a huge positive. Now, I've said it before, especially when it came to One Punch Man Season 2, art and animation aren't everything, but they can help to improve a series. However, bad art and animation doesn't necessarily take away. And in this case, it's just kind of an improvement. It's the cherry on top. The true strength of this episode, and, well, the series as a total, has been its story and characters, and that continues in this. So we pick up from where we left off, and Carole and Tuesday are facing the aftermath of their second place position in Mars Brightest. And in some people's cases, in some people's beliefs, they should have won. So they're just kind of trying to figure everything out. Angela's gotten signed to Brightest Records, and she's even debuting her single. Carole and Tuesday are offered a contract as well, but Gus, speaking on behalf of them as their manager, of course, declines. And the reasoning seems to mostly be for the amount of restrictions that are being placed on them. Now, this is something that, of course, happens in reality. A lot of record producers and record companies and all, when they sign different artists, will place a lot of restrictions on them. And it will cause them to only be able to perform in certain ways, only be able to perform certain kind of music. They're basically being controlled by the company, by the record company, and becoming the artist that the record company wants them to become, rather than who they want to be. Now, Gus had said that the basically only way to guarantee more freedom is that you would get less money for it. He told that to Carole and Tuesday in this episode, and the thing is, they kind of want a little of both, though. They want to get money because, well, for obvious reasons, let's be honest, they're kind of dirt poor, but they also do want the freedom to perform the way they perform. Because who knows? They may, if they accepted that contract, what if they were forced to use AI-produced music? What if they were forced to perform songs that other people wrote? That would go against who they are. They are so successful and popular and talented because of their freedom, because they are writing their own songs. They're choosing what to perform, how to perform it, all of that. With too many restrictions, it would just, well, restrict them. It would keep them from becoming the artists they want to be and keep them from performing in the way that they've been performing, the way they want to continue performing. And I think Gus realizes that. Yes, Carole and Tuesday were a little upset and everything that he just rejected the contract without asking them in the end, but he is looking out for them. I fully believe that Gus is a great guy who just wants the best for them. And I fully acknowledge maybe he should have told them first. Maybe he should have talked to them about it and explained why he was denying it. But he does have a backup plan. While he's getting things set up, though, they are at a laundromat where Tuesday starts getting kind of harassed by some punk teenagers who recognize her. Carole quickly comes to her rescue, like all good girlfriends do. Now, I'm going to keep making those kind of jokes, though, just because I ship them so hard. Like, seriously, I ship them really fucking hard. Because everything is there. Because it's, like, so obvious in terms of the writing and direction of this series. So until it's officially said, I'm going to continue shipping them super hard. But either way, Carole comes to defend her, and in the end, this guy they met and helped also defends them with Aikido, form of martial art. And they ask him if he'd be willing to help teach them and everything, but it kind of cuts away there, and so we don't really know where that went. I'm wondering if that is going to go somewhere, though. That would be pretty cool if Carole and Tuesday learn Aikido and are able to protect themselves. I mean, because, honestly, let's be real. Sabelle was only the beginning. They're going to face crazy people out in the world like this. I mean, not just these people coming forward about supposedly being Carole's family. Not just these punk teenagers harassing them on the streets. They're going to come across people who are going to try and mess with them, who are going to try and maybe even sexually harass them. There are people like that, and it sucks. It's horrible. But that kind of shit does happen. That's why all of these different like pop stars and stuff you see whenever they're traveling around, when you see in the news or TMZ or whatever, they're always traveling around with bodyguards and stuff because they legitimately do need them. Because if they didn't have those bodyguards, shit would go down. Shit would go down really quickly. A lot of them might be killed, let's be honest. And even with the bodyguards, sometimes it still happens. Like, you heard about Christina Grimmie, right? Young pop rock star. She was famous for being on The Voice and everything. She was killed at a signing at one of her concerts. This horrible shit does unfortunately happen. And I really wish it didn't, but it does. So Carole and Tuesday have to watch out. And yes, they got Gus and Roddy and everyone there to help, but they're entering kind of the big leagues now. Now, although Gus rejected the contract at Brightest Records, they're going to try and make a name for themselves independently, but they still need a producer. So Gus takes them to these slums out in the middle of nowhere, where supposedly a world's famous legendary record producer lives. He hasn't been heard of for 12 years now, and apparently he's always been really particular about the artists he works with, and apparently is always just angry at everyone. So Carole and Tuesday perform in the middle of the slums to try and lure him out, basically. And it works. And he's completely insane. Some crazy old guy swinging an axe around, just mumbling out gibberish, and just looking completely and utterly insane. And it's like, ooh, what? How is this guy going to help them? I know that Gus is kind of unorthodox with a lot of things, but this is a bit much. This is a bit much. Hopefully everything works out for them. We'll just kind of have to see, I guess. But this is definitely a good start into the second half of the series. It continues the quality, and even, again, in terms of art and animation, ups the quality of a lot of this. The story and characters are still just as great. And I just really love where they're seemingly going with this. I love the ideas they're presenting and how they're presenting them. It's just, they're proving to be doing this really well, is what I'm saying. I definitely think Shinichiro Watanabe has a new hit classic on his hands. Even if it doesn't get the attention it deserves right away, which it definitely does deserve, it'll definitely become a cult classic if anything. It'll definitely become really popular, even if it doesn't get the normal attention it deserves. But yeah, at least it should. Either way, tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode of Carole and Tuesday, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,